So I did something for the very first time in my life today. It was walking on a frozen lake. I've never done that before. It was absolutely terrifying, but I'm so super glad that I did it. I didn't go. Obviously, I didn't go too far into the lake, but just by the periphery where I could see the surface and I could actually hold on to something without risking my life. I did that, and that was exciting. I am sure my family and my wife would not approve, and I'm glad they weren't there. And nobody was either. The entire area was blanketed with like a crazy fog, so visibility was zero. And I'm sure you've already seen that part of the video. It was absolutely gorgeous. So today is day 4, and day 4 is entirely about craft. So we spend day 1 finding purpose and meaning and motivations about the things that you do at the workplace, even just in the professional life or the personal life. Day 2 was entirely about 10-year futures. And day 3, which was yesterday, was about 1-year futures and the things that are reshaping society right now. And today was entirely about craft, and this is day 4. And the theme for today was entirely about a polymath. So if you don't know what a polymath is, it's a person with wide-ranging knowledge and skills. So, when you look back in history, you have some incredible people who've had a legacy of things that we kind of celebrate in museums and scientists that have been recognized throughout the entire world for their contributions to society, that haven't necessarily built their reputation by doing just one thing, right? So if we look at, say, Aristotle had work that contributed to logic, to ethics, to physics, storytelling, poetry, geology, zoology, metaphysics. Da Vinci, who was a painter, an astronomer, he focused some work in botany and sculpting and cartography, even in engineering. If you look at some of the more modern people, right, you have Jobs, and you have Elon Musk, who runs a space company and runs a car company, runs an energy company, is founding Neuralink, which is the neural lace company that we spoke about day before yesterday. Came from the finance background, back in the PayPal days or X.com days. And I think that over the years, what has happened is education or academia and the way academia has evolved in the last couple of years, it's kind of forced everybody to pick up one individual field and then just go as deep into that field as possible. And for me personally, what I believe is you as an individual can only sustain yourself in a constantly and a rapidly changing world if you apply a growth mindset to yourself and to your skills, and constantly evolve by acquiring new skills and applying these different skills. And I remember reading an amazing quote. I think it's by somebody very famous. I just don't remember who it was. And the quote basically goes like, "The future belongs to those who learn a range of skills and combine them in new, unique, and creative ways." And I could not agree with this more, because this is pretty much how I have personally modeled my career. Spending a lot of time in computer science, picking up skills in user experience design and product design, moving on to doing product and strategy, dabbling with artificial intelligence and data science. I've always managed to look at what's out there and what's shaping the way that we do things, the way that we build things, our craft, and kind of go back, spend time acquiring those skills and then bringing them into the work that I do. And one of the frameworks, I'm not a big fan of frameworks, that the irony of starting with a framework, but I'm not a big fan of frameworks. I don't know, I just feel that they're kind of limiting, and I feel like sometimes, again, like books, you need frameworks that are timeless. And I find this one framework to kind of be extremely timeless in the way that it has constructed. So I'll put it here on the screen somewhere for you to see. It's called the Krebs cycle of creativity. It was envisioned by Neri Oxman at the MIT Media Labs, who's done a stellar job in kind of creating a framework around how can we create things and how can things be informed by different realms and different industries and different types of crafts. And the reason why I like this is it kind of gives me a lens on how to apply the work that I personally do and the work that I personally am excited about. So the entire day was primarily about trying to understand how do I break down my skills and how do I break down my skills in a way that has something in each of these individual realms. So the four realms are art, science, engineering, and design. And luckily enough, I've managed to acquire skills in each of these individual realms because I've actually spent time doing that. And today was entirely about going back and writing a list of skills that I have in each of these individual things or individual realms, and then trying to figure out from everything that I read in day one, on day two, and day three, exactly which ones are relevant, which ones are going to, something will continue to persist time, and then the ones that I feel like aren't necessarily important, so I can kind of like let go of them, because as I personally progress in my career, this is something that I've got to be mindful of, is like it's going to have to be a balance of being hands-on and managing and actually leading. So that was pretty much the entire day. I guess the only new things that came out of it, apart from the ones that are table stakes, which is like on the design and the art side, which kind of is a combination of how we design things, but also how do we use the art of recognizing how culture is evolving. You have skills like user research and service design and experience design, usability and business strategy and product design, inclusive design and systems design, and exactly where these fields are heading and what's the forefront of this specific craft today. And then on the engineering and the design side, you had front-end engineering, you have product engineering, prototyping, building an amazing platform architecture, and just data science and artificial intelligence. And then you obviously have right between the science and the art, which I kind of feel is all things to do with product management and general management. But the thing that was extremely exciting to me to this time, and I keep doing this, I keep revisiting this this graph, trying to understand exactly which skills are relevant to me as an individual. This time, some of the aspects of the science part were extremely new. So, just reading about the 10-year futures and just getting excited about some of the research that was happening when I was reading on day two, everything to do with non-organic intelligence and creating the perfect life and bioengineering and cyborg engineering, embedded intelligence and building new AI techniques. That science aspect had the most new amount of skills, at least for me personally, that I feel like I do have to go back and investigate. And the way that I use this framework is it's kind of like a gyroscope or a compass, where based on the kind of problem that I'm solving right now, or rather the kind of problems that I do want to solve right now, the craft that I do want to be a part of right now, and the kind of work that I feel like my career personally is heading in, it's what skills are going to be relevant right now and where are the gaps. So, I've, over the last couple of years, I've acquired these skills, but then there are always new skills to acquire, and how soon do I need to acquire, what are the gaps, and how do I fill those gaps? So kind of building a strategy towards filling the gaps. And then apart from just the skills in this on this framework, there's also craft, which is what types of craft is something that I want to participate in. So you have, for example, say augmented reality or mixed reality or virtual reality, or using camera as a platform, or autonomous driving or IoT, kind of figuring out, what's the next big project that I kind of like want to do, or what's the next big problem that I want to solve, and what craft is kind of important to something that I'm gravitating towards. So, today was entirely about using the framework to build the skills, recognize the gaps, try to understand exactly what's happening at the forefront of the craft and these skills in the field right now. Who are those individuals actually leading the conversations about say inclusive design, which is a big topic right now for product designers, and even ethics in design, which is how can you use the right algorithms and how can you use the right models and how do designers investigate those models. So just like looking at literature that is being written and kind of coming back and putting a plan together. So that was, I guess, pretty much the entire day. Given how personal this is to me, it might not be relevant or interesting to you guys, but I'm sharing this process as I kind of promised, and as I've been doing in the last couple of videos, that I think is going to be exciting for you. But if you have any questions, or if you've found better ways of how you have developed your craft over the years, obviously feel free to comment and feel free to write me a note. And if you want any kind of thoughts or opinions that you'd like to ask me, I would be extremely happy to share some of this personal stuff and kind of have a conversation with you. But hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully it'll inspire you to kind of build your arsenal of craft and arsenal of skills, and at least investigate how you develop and how you go from here. So yeah, that was it. Share the video and comment and like, and tomorrow is day 5, and day 5 is entirely about happiness. It's also my last day, so by the end of day tomorrow, I will be heading back to New York. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. Take care.